This is our monthly update for Expert Property Management for the month of May. If you're interested in the rental market, even if we're not your property managers, you may want to stay tuned because we're going to give you an update for Sacramento. The median rent in Sacramento for a 2-bedroom is $1,764. Now that's from the California Association of Apartment Owners. So those are mostly apartments. However, that's going to translate into higher rents for those single family houses that are out there. Now, if you've been renting properties for a long time, you know that it peaked out in 2022. That was the peak market for us. And right now, year over year for the nation, we're up about 0.5% in rent. Multifamily right now has had a lot of overbuilt properties in some areas, depending on where you're from. There's been a lot of properties built and the vacancy rate for those is climbing. 7% now vacancy rate for multifamily across the nation. Days on market to fill those properties about 30. We're going to get into Sacramento now. Sacramento's year over year rent increase up 1.1%. So that's a pretty big deal. Now, in our own company, we've been raising rents almost 5%. So we've been seeing considerable increase. Some of that is because some of the properties that came to us a little undervalued, so we're able to push those up. When you make them a little bit nicer, you can push those rents up as long as you're taking care of those tenants. In most cases, they won't leave as long as they feel loved. Right now, we've got only 3.5% vacancy, which is much better than that 7%. Actually 50% better than the 7%. So we're glad to do that. We feel like we're doing our job filling up these units. Our average rent price is $2,090, which is also a large increase. We've increased that average rent price just over the last quarter considerably. It was down below $1,900 and we've got it up over $2,090. That's a great indicator that we're bringing on better properties and that our owners are being able to ask for more. Now you might think, well, my property's $3,000, $4,000. Yes, but there's properties at all price ranges. Some of these are smaller properties, not as new. We've got properties as high as $6,700 that are getting rented and bringing in great tenants for that. What have we been doing? Well, we feel that one of the most important things you can do is take care of your tenants. By far and away, the largest expense that a landlord will typically face is a tenant turn. That is when a tenant moves out of the property. So what we try to do is make sure we keep those tenants happy. And the way you keep a tenant happy is that you take care of the problems that come up quickly. Believe it or not, when tenants leave, their complaint is not necessarily that it costs so much. It's that they didn't get that maintenance taken care of quickly. So what have we done about that? Well, we did 22 inspections last month just on properties, making sure that those properties were in good shape. And then we had 92 work orders created that we addressed, closed out over half of those, and most of the rest are still in progress right now. So we're working on those. 36% of our work orders that come up, we're able to close out at no cost to the owner. Either we talked them through the situation. I had someone call me this week and they had a toilet that wouldn't flush. Well, when we got on the phone and started talking to her, we found out that it was the valve underneath the toilet that was turned off. The water valve was actually turned off. There, we saved probably $150 from sending a plumber out, so that was awesome. At the same time, inspections, oh my goodness. We just had an inspection. The house was in terrible shape. I am so glad that we did a pre-lease renewal inspection. If we had not, that property could have been much worse after a couple of years. Before we go to renew a lease, we're gonna walk through that property, and when we did, we immediately said, we are not gonna release this property to this individual. Now, we'll get coverage out of the deposit proceeds to fix it back up, to clean it back up. But before a lot of damage was done, it really is just dirty. They're living dirty. And we want to see that before it becomes actual damage. Right now, we're going to face a heavy-duty cleaning bill that they're going to pay for out of their deposit, but it hasn't gone to the point of actually having to damage the property. Other than that stove, that thing's nasty. We're taking it out. So this is our update, pretty quick, and I hope that you enjoy getting these feedback updates each month. Stay tuned for more. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly. I'm the owner, I'm the broker. If things go right, it's my fault. And if things go wrong, it's probably my fault too. 916-225-7777. I hope you're having an excellent day and making some money on your rentals.